go through the sets of tools that you need, right? Again, this is going to be something that's going to be directed towards the DIYer. Someone who has never attempted to finish taping before ever. Eventually, we're going to get into some advanced, some series of advanced taping, different techniques that's going to show us. That's going to be more for someone who has been doing it for a little bit of longer time. And that'll come down the line. So for now, what we're going to introduce is the tools that we use, right? We have a 6-inch knife. We have an 8-inch knife. We have a 10-inch knife. And we have a 12-inch knife, okay? Those are the knives that we're going to use. Altogether, what I'm going to show you today is really, we're going to put the 12-inch knife away. We're going to put the 8-inch knife away. We're going to use the 6-inch knife and the 10-inch knife. And we also have a hawk, all right? Now, I use a hawk because that's how I was trained. I've always used a hawk. A lot of folks use a pan, right? Pan's perfectly fine. The difference is that you hold a hawk like this and you hold a pan like this, all right? Now, the comfort of the handles on these knives are going to be important, because if you start getting into this and you're doing in multiple rooms, you're going to want the tools to feel really comfortable in your hands. The handles are going to make a big difference. There are tools out there that have big, bulky handles. Not to say that they're not good. You can use those too. What's your comfort level? They all will do the job and they all will make it work. These are the ones that I've found for me that help my hands and make it easier for me. Now, here's a little tidbit that I could share with you guys. This is called the hawk. The reason it's called the hawk, this is going to make sense once I explain it to you, okay? You ever see any of the folks out there that train actual hawks, the bird? How do they hold it when it flies? Like this, right? Like this. You put the hawk in your hand. The hawk would fly and land on your arm. That's why they call it a hawk. A little bit of history. Anyway, it goes in 2-inch increments. 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. It makes it easier for us to understand that on every coat, we bring it a little further out, a little further out. That's why these tools are designed by 2 inches. You want to bring it 2 inches out, all right? Your first coat, we're going to embed the tape with the 6-inch knife, all right? I like to wipe it out, and I'm going to show you with my 8-inch knife. It just really assures me that I'm going to bury that tape and get that recess nice and filled. Moving forward a little bit, we're going to go to our 10-inch knife. Our 10-inch knife is going to flare it out even more. We're going to now coat that tape, bring it out, and then for the final coat, we use the 12-inch. So if you remember, 6 inches, 10 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. That'll kind of give you, without thinking, knowing that you want to flash this seam out. You're a little bit wider, cover the edge, right? That makes sense. Another thing too, the heavier the compound that we use, the more of an edge it's going to leave. So be mindful of that. The lighter the compound, the looser the compound, the less of an edge it's going to leave. I also want to spend a little bit of time on this because I think it's really important. Holding your knife, and that goes for all of the knives, whatever size it is. This is how I recommend holding your knife. You're going to hold it with one finger up top. This is going to give you more control of your knife. Whether it be this way, let's go on the wall a second. Okay, I can move my finger to here to put more pressure here, and I can move my finger here to put more pressure here. I could lift and I could bring down. I could bring my hand down, keep my finger here, or go up and keep my finger here. If you hold your knife like this, you have no control on doing any of that stuff, okay? It's going to make your job a lot harder. So my recommendation is to keep your finger up here, okay? It's going to be really important. And I'm always going to bring this up. When we just show you a lot of angles, knife angles on these things, when we're doing specific coats, applications, I'm going to be moving my hand down, moving my hand up, moving my finger left, right, right, left, right? And that's going to help you really understand where your pressures on your knife is going to go. So this happens by repetition, right? Don't think that you're going to just bust out these tools and you're going to get out there and you're going to be able to tape and finish like a pro. It's going to take multiple times. You're going to have to practice. It's like anything else. You ride a bike, you don't ride forever or first time. You got to learn. But if you understand why you're doing things a specific way, that's going to help you in the long run, because you're going to know, oh, this is why I do it. This is why I add the water. This is why it needs to be heavier compound. This is why I hold my knife this way. So I'm going to emphasize that a lot moving forward into all of the different coats that we go through: the first coat, the second coat, the third coat, right? Angles on your knives, how you hold your knife, keeping your tools clean is really important. You're going to notice that anytime you get anything that starts to dry up, compound, as soon as it hits the air, it starts to dry. If you get those dried pieces that are in your finished product, you're going to be fighting the wall all the time. You're going to be picking the stuff out. We don't want that. We want you to stay clean. So have that mentality of being clean. You keep your buckets clean. You keep your tools clean. Don't worry about yourself, because you're going to get dirty. The floor, we can clean it up, right? So